All right, so I was looking at my channel feeds today to see who might have uploaded anything, and then I normally see a 1 or a 3 or a 4, and I saw Jimmy Whisper that uploaded something, so I was like, oh, okay, remove Anglo, I think it is, or Angelo. I'm not sure exactly how it's pronounced. I could just see how it's spelled, so I click on it, and then it says video removed because of it violates YouTube's hate speech policy. So I'm like, okay, so they took the video down because it had some hate speech in it. Now, would I normally agree with that? Yes, there's a problem. It ain't like Jimmy Whisper sitting here with 100,000 subscribers or 200,000 subscribers or 3,000 or 500 million or some crap it's not like that. So why target Jimmy Whisper? Why take his down for hate speech? Usually, from what I've noticed, Jimmy Whisper will post things that are they're on the cusp of, are you trying to be hated? and it seems to be usually satirical in nature. So I'm like, all right, it's not hate speech if it's meant to pick on somebody for being hateful. That's what we call nuance. And so I thought I'm like, okay, if his got taken down for hate speech, I'm like, okay, cool, look, that's all good. Hate speech, take it down. All right. But then, I thought, what about CNN, Fox News, Alex Jones, Ben Shapiro and all them? I mean, what about these little interviews with, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, Donald Trump, and what about Nancy Pelosi and Deborah Wasserman Schultz and all these other things where hate speech is used, where the rhetoric is always screw over the brown people. Hate thy Muslim, hate thy non-white. That's usually where everything is, rhetorically that is. So I'm like, you can't take his down for hate speech and then allow people like Alex Jones to get up there and call someone a demon or call them, anti-Trump or whatnot, just because they say that it's okay for brown people to be in the country. This guy, Alex Jones, who says that Sandy Hook never happened, it's a lie. This guy and it's not just him. The people on other channels and whatnot, where they said, like the Las Vegas shooting, they either won't say anything about it or say that it was a conspiracy by the left. So they basically say that left-leaning people are hiring assassins to go out and kill random people at concerts or random people at nightclubs in Florida, or to shoot up schools in Florida and other places. And right now they're trying to say the left had a conspiratorial moment to shoot up a newsroom, while at the same time people on the right are saying, hey, Young Turks, why aren't you dead? Why hasn't someone shot up your area? And then say that we Republicans are those of peace and prosperity and free speech. And I'm like, whoa, so it kind of leads me into that. So, and the thing is, I thought about, is this hate speech? Whatever was taken down, was it really hate speech? Because hate speech to me is speech that says, I want you dead mainly because you're not white. Or I want you dead because you're not part of my religion. I want you dead because you don't agree with my political ideology. And we know how ideologies are. They're all fucking stupid. So I'm just saying, why protect hate speech? It made me think about that. And I thought about Kyle Kalinske. I thought about him talking about he's a free speech absolutist. So that means he finds hate speech perfectly all right. You should be okay to use hate speech. If you want to talk about the Jews run the country and they are trying to kill off any and everyone by using the banks and stuff, I'm like, come on. And it's not everyone. See, they'll say that. No. The truth is, I mean, they kill off non-Jewish white people. That's what they're saying. That's aggravating. You know, is it okay for speech when you see cops going out there killing people that are brown left and right with no mercy? And then you have others that say, well, the brown person shouldn't have ran. The brown person should have not been on welfare. The brown person should have complied with the cop. The brown person should have followed ridiculous orders. I mean, like the black dude that was that was standing somewhere, the police officers told him, sit down. Okay. So he sat down. And then he said, now sit with your arms on your legs. He sat with his arms on his legs. Okay, get your legs straight. And then the female officer, your legs straight, crossed. And he's like, what? He's like, I don't know how to, okay, my legs are straight. I can't get them any straighter than this. I mean, he didn't want talking, but you could tell there was nothing left he could do. It's like, okay, my arms are clearly here. My hands are out and palms down. There's nothing in my hands. My feet are flat on the ground and are spaced out pretty well. He had like epic man spread going. And the cop is like, your legs straight out, your legs in front of you, your legs out in front of you. And he's like, he adjusts a little bit and he said, you get your feet in front of you. So then he pulls his feet in and the female officer is like, put your legs in front of you and cross them. Do it now. And he's like, I can't do both. And then the officer goes up and tases him. Tases the shit out of him. But then, you know, they'll say, hey, you know, he should have listened. He should have followed orders, you know. And I'm like, has no one noticed? Has no one noticed that this cop was pretty much just Simon Says without the Simon Says? That was reverse Simon Says. Just do it. Do it. Do it. Follow my orders. Oh my, you're not compliant. You're not doing it exactly as I'm saying, so I get to now hurt you. I mean, to me, it's hate speech when you're sitting there saying, well, he should have complied. He should have listened. I mean, come on. So, you know, I mean, what's the other speech we have? Since, you know, there's a free speech absolutist. So money in politics. Kyle Kalinske hate money in politics. But since everybody likes to go on, well, it's the law. So, all right. So, since the Supreme Court of the United States of Northern America decided that money is the equivalent of speech, he should be like, well, money's speech. He should be all for it. I mean, going on his rhetoric and how he is so free speech absolutist. All right. That's all I'm going. Free speech absolutist. When you have these KKK rallies, the people in the Ku Klux Klan or white nationalists that raise their children and teach their friends and do everything they can to espouse verbally, text, or anything, basically to hate the blacks, to hate the Jews, and to really despise the Mexicans, that's hate speech. And that stuff is carried out violently. People are dying. There are Mexican families being split up and broken up in a world that hates them while they're fleeing a world that's trying to kill them. So if you're a free speech absolutist, then shouldn't you be against, well, I mean, not against, but shouldn't you be all for that? Because the KKK is letting everybody know, hey, you need to die. You know, and the one thing I've learned is the only thing worse than an N-word is an N-word lover. I've heard that way too much. In and out of movies. You know, you think movies are fake until you hear that shit in real life, and then you're stunned for real. So, I mean, this is hate speech. It's hate speech. And Kyle Kalinske and others are for it. They're free speech absolutists. They're all about it. So it's okay. So that's what bothers me. So YouTube takes Jimmy Whisper's video down because it's hate speech. It violates their terms of service. But yet you've got people up there that are chanting for the dismemberment of families, the destruction of black and other brown people, the removal of non-white, white-looking people, basically Jewish people, and they don't want any Russians over here except that they do, and they love them, but they hate them. I mean, make up your mind, right? There's all kinds of hate speech going on. And I feel like this. This is how I feel, and this is how I solve things. There are all forms of speech. There are. So hate speech should not be protected. Anything that causes or spreads or indoctrinates hatred should be against the law. Will it go underground? Sure. Of course it'll go underground. It has no choice. I think it was Conquering Thought, or it might have been Jimmy Whisper, that said that's what would happen if you abolish hate speech and whatnot. You know, if you start arresting people or criminalizing people for hate speech and things like that. But it's always been underground. It hasn't left. Look at Trump. Look at Jeff Sessions. You know, look. I mean, okay, they old as fuck. So you say, well, that's how they were brought up. That's how they were raised. Okay, let's drop it down, you know, roughly half their age, and look at Paul Ryan, who's probably, honestly, worse than they are. See, the older people are doing it because that's what they were raised in. Paul Ryan, not only was he raised in it, but he knows by being it, he'll get a lot more money. And he just hates people in general. You think he loves those Republicans? No. He absolutely hates anyone that's not him. I promise you that. If Trump suddenly became poor and he couldn't do anything, and so would Jeff Sessions and John McCain and, you know, Lou Dobbs and anyone else that's that crazy right-wing side, then, or left-wing, honestly, you think he's going to say we need to help them? No, he's not. And if it serves him, he will talk about all the hate speech in their policies and their rhetoric and their speeches and stuff, just so he can nail it to them. Because he doesn't give a damn. When you have people that can do hate speech and find it okay, you can rest assured they don't give a damn about anybody but themselves. You know, I can even question if he gives a damn about his family. I can. It's easy. I mean, John McCain, how much did he care about his wife? She got cancer. He said, well, I'm going to leave you and find somebody with money. Or he left her for somebody with money while she's terminally ill. I mean, wow, really? Paul Ryan was questioned about the new healthcare plan at the opening of Trump's, his administration. Not long. I think it was about 2 months after he took office. So roughly in February. And, well, last year. Well, 2 years ago. Roughly thereof. So, and, you know, they asked Paul Ryan about that. You know, look, there's millions of people going to be taking off their health care. They're going to get sick and they're most likely going to die. And he said, I don't care. It was so blatant. I mean, there was nothing but, you know, straight up honesty on his face and in his words. I don't care. I mean, come on. And then recently, you know, you're like, look, so you think it's okay for children to be separated from their parents and stuff? Wah, wah. That's what somebody else said. And then CNN, what's their hate speech? They allow it. They literally allow right-wing people to go up there and talk about this stuff saying, yeah, we should separate families. Well, you know, a cop is defending his life when somebody's running away from him. You know, they get to say that stuff. And then the left wing, if they go up there, they'll be like, well, there's nothing we can do about it. We have to do an investigation and we'll see how things go in the court. I mean, come on. If someone, okay, take it away from hate speech. If someone owes you money from your job, if you got one, or some way they owe you money, and you get and it's been like 3 weeks after it's supposed to be a 7-day process, and you call them saying, hey, I'm expecting $500. What I was expecting that. What can you tell me where it is? This is my name. I've been with this and I've done this, and you go through the whole gambit, and they say, oh yes, you know what, we got you on file. We see that the money is to be sent to you. We will let you know once we pass that through. Okay, what the hell? And it's like, yeah, we're going to send it through. It's like, it's supposed to be sent 7 days ago. Today was supposed to, it's the 8th day actually. Why don't I have it? Well, we're going to check with our department. We're going to see how things go, and we're going to send it to you as soon as we can. All right. This is a normal thing that happens. There are others that's calling in, but you're fine. You're going to get your money, and you're like, all right, fine. How long goes by? Another week, another 7 days, and you call, and they're like, oh yeah, we got it, but yeah, it's just the bank isn't taking it. We don't know why, but it's sitting here. So we're going to send it. At what point do you say this shit isn't going to change, and they're not going to give me my money? When do you go to the lawyer? When? And that's what Democrats do. How many times does there have to be an investigation before you realize this is systemic, this is rampant, and you know what? It ain't about realizing, because they're part of the game. Because I remember the Democrats used to talk against hate speech. They don't anymore. They'll say they have their opinions, we have ours, we disagree on things. But, you can rest assured that we are going to try to work across the aisle and get things done. Because the more you say work across the aisle, others start to take that to heart and want you to work across the aisle. And if you don't, then you're an obstructionist. Because, reasons. So, hate speech is probably the most, actually, no, not probably. No. Hate speech is the single most protected speech out there. I can tell you that we should have safety. I can tell you the cops need to be regulated. I can tell you the cops should be sued and tried. The police departments don't need to be investigated because it's more than obvious what's going on. I can tell you that whichever government part is paying them isn't cracking down on them, so they're complicit in it. I can tell you that anybody out there who is talking about, yeah, because you're running away from the cops, you're not complying, so you need to get shot in the back and killed. You need to be murdered because of that. But if you're white, you had a family, you had good things coming for you, you had a good, bright future ahead. So, there was no reason for him to be gunned down that way. Why don't you think about somebody's life before you just open fire and take it? But if you're brown, then, well, you shouldn't have been, brown. But, instead of saying that's hate speech, that's illegal, we say, hey, you know what? Yeah, we believe that you should say that. And it's good for you to say that, because now we can counter you with like facts and logic and reason, when the truth is, in order to be hateful, you can't care about facts and logic and reason. Because hate has look, I've got a severe fear of spiders. A severe fear of spiders. And I'm going to tell you, there's hate. Ain't nothing rational about it. Ain't nothing rational about it. And to be honest with you, you can't compare that with, the other, because if you're somebody that has that level of fear of black people, in all honesty, what is wrong with you? Because people are people. I can see if all of a sudden there's a black dude walking down the street on the other side, and, he grows 6 extra arms and his eyes get all buggy and stuff, and he starts shooting webs out his ass and running at you. Yeah, you know what? That fucker needs to be gunned down at that point. I agree. Shoot that fucker dead. I am all for it. But that's not how it goes. That's not how it's ever going to be. I hope. I'm sure there's some dumbasses out there right now trying to get bit by radioactive spiders. I know there are. And hate speech, hey, let's protect it. Let's make sure that, these people can raise their children to hate and become cops and kill brown people. Let's do that. Let's hate so that these people can grow up and become senators, lawmakers. Let's get that racist. Let's make sure the racists stay lawmakers so that all brown people and whatnot can get shot and killed. And it's okay because no justice system that is racist is going to prosecute a racist justice system. That's not going to happen. So hate speech is protected. And people like Kyle Kalinske needs to get his head on straight. Instead of that being that free speech absolutist, need to say, nope, hate speech is not free speech because hate speech actually stops free speech. It's been doing it. I mean, what? Trump wants to separate families. He's all right with killing black people. He's all right with killing Mexicans. He's all right with Mexicans being raped. He demonizes all Mexicans as rapists and murderers. And then when he gets caught, oh, no, I'm just talking about MS-13. You didn't talk about him before, but you talk about him now. It needs to be its own speech, and it needs to be illegal. It needs to be unlawful. And if you're teaching your kid that, you know what? You need to be able to go to prison for it. Because if a black person can talk about, we need to uprise, we need to rise up, we need to work as a people and overthrow this government and get some actual things going, some positive things going for all people. And that's considered not only an attempted coup, but let's say the government part isn't there, but we need to rise up and be better and work together as a unit and yada, yada, yada. And multiple times, too many times, has that been cited as inciting a riot. If that is inciting a riot, where a guy can gather about 5 to 10 people on the street on the soapbox talking, then what is it when your entire government says, let's ruin this planet's resources, let's kill all the brown people, let's hate all the Jews, black people are just in the way and ruining our society with their welfare, considering the fact that more white people are on welfare, but let's not talk about that. Let's talk about anything that's going to make sure that you hate black and brown people and hate the Jews. If on your soapbox, in front of just a handful of people is inciting a riot, then what the hell is all of this? People got to think about that. What is all of this? What is Trump and all these right-wing people are doing? Recently, I'm just saying there's a dude, Jank, you got a report on the guy. No, it wasn't Jank. It was Farron Cousins, who I got enough issues with. But he talked about this guy who's Republican, who voted for Trump. He knew what Trump wanted, everything that he promised on the campaign trail, voted for him. And then in compliance with Trump, and due to all these tariffs going on, he has recently let go 500 or slightly more people from his business, and now his business is suffering massively. So, because of that, he can't get help from who? The Republicans. The thing that he is, that he identifies with. He can't get help from them. So now he's begging Democrats to help him. Do you really think you're going to get help from Democrats, the most complicit political group that works with Republicans because they're always across the aisle? You're not getting help from Democrats. You're not getting help from anyone. And this guy, with what money he has, he's trying to lobby the Democrats. He's trying to pay the Democrats to do the right thing. Just to let you know, if you have to pay somebody to do the right thing, then they are not the right people to do anything. That's all I got to say. Whatever you think, put that down there below. This is Ran Long. This is Cedric Kennedy for Comparative Reasoning. Thank you for listening.